Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of the coolest thing on YouTube. So imagine if I was that cheesy all the time. It's just not me. I couldn't even fake it. I'm not good at it. Anyways, another Meet the Collection. I'm going to go kind of quick through this one. This is a guy that if you guys were on one of the live videos, I popped out real quick. He is a male blue ghost Borneo short-tailed python. I got him from Chris Kopecky. Actually purchased this animal initially as a female, and Chris contacted me before it ever shipped out and had discovered that it was actually a male. Let me know. Gave me the option whether I wanted to still take it, get a refund, whatever. Chris was really great about that. I'm stubborn, so once I have something in my head and I really liked the snake, it didn't matter. So even though I had built a whole direction around it being a female, I kind of switched around. I spent a bunch more money, got a female, I ended up getting 2 females and 3 females, and crazy shit happens. So I'm hoping that I'm going to pair this guy up this year. Obviously, he's more than ready. I mean, this is an adult male Borneo short-tailed python. He's not an enormous male, but he's definitely got the age and size. I don't remember how old he is. I want to say this animal's a 2014, but I'm not entirely positive on that. He's not really fired up right now, so he's not blue, but I think you can see, obviously, he's different than a lot of other Borneo shorttails. You can see that blue color, the blue head. His head's got a little mark on it. A lot of my snakes that I ended up putting in that ARS pushed, and I hate that rack with all my heart. I really, truly do. But anyhow, he's great. He eats fantastic. He's really funny. Every other snake, I got my finger. Every other snake that I have in that rack sits at the back of the rack. He's the only one that sits at the front and always wrapped around the water dish, very like a female would be. But I have actually paired him up before. He definitely is a male. There's no question there. I just didn't get a clutch out of him when I paired him up. But I got a blue ghost girl that I'm feeding now, getting ready. And I'm going to shoot for some blue ghosts this year, hopefully, as long as she's in line in about a month for me to pair them up. It's really funny, too. This is the longest I've ever held this snake. So I really had no idea going into this video how he's going to behave. I've taken him outside a couple of times for pictures, things like that. But never have I had a prolonged handling session with him. No particular reason. I mean, he's perfectly fine. But I got him as more or less an adult. And so sometimes you don't build the same relationship with them that you do with a younger animal. I think now you can see a little bit better his size. So I love him. I like him a great deal. He's really cool. But I don't have that same relationship that I build with animals that I produce or animals that I bought as a baby and raised. So, I kind of just let him be him, but obviously he's fine with handling. He's handling it well. He's a little stiff every once in a while and getting a little mobile right now, but, not a mean bone in his body, no intent. He's not stressed. He's just not used to this. Plus, I'm holding him up for the camera, which obviously he's not used to at all. But he's never given me a stink eye or anything moving him to clean him. He's never given me any issues. Outside of that behavior where he's at the front of the cage compared to every other snake being at the back. That's about it as far as quirks for him that I've ever noticed. He's just intently watching me right now. It's so cool. I don't think you'll be able to tell from there because he's watching me obviously on this side. But definitely a cool animal. Definitely an animal I'm looking forward to getting some offspring from. I paid a very pretty penny for this snake. Trying to remember, I think he was $15.50 shipped, if memory serves. But money well spent. He's a beautiful animal. I wish he was fired up for this video. If you saw him fired up, he's just incredible. He doesn't fire very often. Very, very rarely compared to a lot of my short tails that I can catch fired up more often. I don't know how long I've had him. I've probably had him for a couple of years now, and I've probably caught him fired up 3 or 4 times. not very often. Some of my short tails, it's like, you know, once every other week I'll catch him or something, but he's just not very often. But I still love the blues there. You do see some ultras that get close to this level of blue. I think that's a good angle where you can really see the difference in the contrast and why they call them blue ghosts. But the difference between those and true blues is the head. So his head is that blue too. The ones that don't have the blue heads, as adults anyway, are not really your blue ghosts. There's some people out there that sell stuff as blue ghosts that are not true blue ghosts. And blue ghost can work in a lot of different ways, like a lot of other Borneo genetics. You know, I bred my blue ghost female to my side swipe male and got blue offspring out of that. And then some others that are hues of blue and ghosty and ultra-ish, but not quite blue. But this year I'm going to try blue to blue and see what I get with this guy to that female, as long as she's ready. And then the following season, hopefully I'll have my other blue ghost girl ready. She's like a 2016, so she's got the age to kind of go, but she's still a little small in my opinion. The other females, you know, bred twice already, once with me, once with Rumbly. She had last year off, and so we're going to try her again. Her two previous clutches have not been great. Both had some level of issues with two different males. So chances are it's her, but I'm going to give her another shot and see how it goes. And hopefully it'll work out. I don't know where he's going, off and running. I'm trying to get some more of his color in there. If you saw the pictures when I bought this guy, which he's rarely looked that good, but he looked amazing. And not that Chris did anything to the pictures, because he didn't. He was just fired up. I keep my short tails a little bit cooler than most people do, even a little bit cooler than I suggest people keep them. So I think that temperature affects how often they're fired up. Even that chrome head Sumatran that I sent to Matt over at O'Malley's has been fired up more often at his house than she was here. So I do think that's something to do with it. She's probably a little bit warmer over there and just firing up more. So, you know, I suppose I could turn up their temps if I wanted to get good pictures or something, but it's just not that important to me. I know the quality that's in my animals. I know what they look like. I know what they look like at their best. I know what they're capable of producing. So I don't really worry about it all that much. My ultimate goal with buying the Blue Ghost was to get Blue Ghost side swipes, which is what I did that pairing for. But I got 10 babies. Like 3 of them were just failed to thrives, where they just couldn't even digest food at all. Then one committed suicide, basically. I opened the tub that was above my head. It flopped out into the air, snapped its neck on the rack. It was still alive, but it died the next morning. That was my favorite one, of course. Then I had a couple others that just couldn't hold down food, but every 3rd or 4th meal. A lot of regurgitation issues no matter what I did. You know, I'd wait weeks, try again, have some success, wait weeks, try again, have no success, back and forth. Eventually, they regurged and rolled and passed away. I sold 2 of them after they had like months and months and months and months of successful meals and were doing well, didn't have regurgitation issues. One of them is still doing great. One of them was doing well seemingly for 8 months, 9 months, and then regurged and died. So there's definitely something that went on with that clutch. What it was, I don't know. I have one left here. He's like 2 years old, and he's freaking as small as my hatchlings that I had from this year. He's actually smaller than a couple of those Borneos that came out kind of big. I have to manage him super light meals, super infrequent to keep him from regurging. I mean, I'm feeding quail, and frozen thawed seems to work better. And my only thought process to that is, you know, maybe it's a little bit further down the process, easier for them to digest. And I know the person that lost theirs found they had better success with frozen than live or pre-killed. So there may be something to that. And the other person, like I said, theirs is hanging in there, and this guy's hanging in there, but he's just not growing. He's just very small. There's nothing health-wise wrong with him that I can see. He looks great. He sheds great. His appetite is fantastic. I mean, he would eat every day if I'd feed him every day. But I just have to be real cautious, give him extra time to digest, make sure he's got proper heat to digest, all of that. All things that I don't really have to pay attention to with my other snakes. This guy obviously is calmed down now. Not that he was crazy before, but he's just chilling. No name for this guy yet. I've never even really put any thought into it, to be honest with you. Like I said, I just don't have like a deep personal connection with this animal like I do with a lot of my others. No fault of the animal, just it's weird to me getting adults sometimes. And I remember Chris telling me that him and I were going to be drinking buddies in no time. We get along that well, but we haven't drank much together. He's a bit of a lightweight, so we'll see what happens. But I thank Chris forever for this snake. Like I said, I think either Keith or Mark produced him. It was either like one of the last blues that Keith produced, or it was when Mark bought, a lot of stuff from Keith and produced them. Chris couldn't quite remember, but either way, I'm over the moon with this snake. I can't wait to hopefully get some viable offspring out of the girl from him that do well. It would be really, really nice. Blue Ghost is probably the most difficult gene that I work with as far as that stuff goes. There does seem to be some occasional issues with them, and I'm hoping it was just bad luck, and this year will be better. If this year is not good and the female still has issues, then I would probably just retire her from breeding her, and she would just be a pet at that point. I don't see any point in producing animals that aren't going to thrive. So, one time can be just a stroke of bad luck. And Rumley didn't have quite as much bad luck as I did. I think it was just a smaller clutch and fewer hatched. But I don't think there were issues with the babies that did. So this will be the deciding clutch. I'll throw my A game at it if I get eggs, and do everything on my end to make sure they're good. And hopefully they will be. So we'll see you guys. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, do all that stuff, comment. Helps the algorithm, helps keep these videos seen by other people. So I appreciate that. I appreciate all the people that signed up for memberships so far. I'm going to start doing live videos in there soon with you guys. I'm hoping a few more people will sign up so we can have a little bit of a crowd in there. But, we've got about half a dozen people there so far, so that's really good. So if you haven't looked into that, check it out. Apparently on iPhone, sometimes you can have trouble seeing the join button that you need. But if you go on your desktop, you can, or I think Android, it comes up automatically or whatever else. So just if you don't see the join button and you're on an iPhone, that's why, something to do with that. But the Android phones, it should be there, and then as well on your desktop or whatever else you use to watch YouTube. All right, we'll see you guys. Thank you.